Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to do an updated review on Radical Firearms AR-15. I've done previous reviews on Radical Firearms AR before, but today I have some excellent information to report to you guys, so I thought it was about time to do an updated review. So, at 100 yards with this AR right here, we've got a 1-inch group. There you go, 3 shots right there, 1 inch apart. Okay, now you can see the wind's blowing to the right a little bit. Okay, so we got about 10 miles per hour to the right, and then it moved our bullet over to the right about 1 inch as expected. Okay, ammunition I was using, cheap ass target ammo. Whatever that says, I can't even pronounce their name. Herters, I don't know, I have no idea how they pronounce this thing. But Target 223, 100 yards. And what I was using, okay, I've got the Holosun 503G ACSS, okay? So that has the ACSS reticle, right? And then behind it, I just got in the Vortex 6X magnifier. Right, I was just testing that out today. That's why I pulled out this gun over here, and I wanted to use specifically use this optic because I thought it would match up great with the 6X magnifier because of the ACSS reticle that has that fine tip. Because here's the thing: if you're just using a 2 MOA dot and you put a 6X magnifier on it, well, now that 2 MOA dot is going to be multiplied by 6. All right, so now you get a 12 MOA dot. So with the ACSS, because it has that fine tip that goes under the target, right? So that goes underneath the bullseye. So instead of having like a big 12 MOA thing that goes on top of this and you can't see your bullseye, the ACSS goes to the bottom of it right here. So you can see. So regardless how big, how much you magnify it, the tip of the arrow is the tip of the arrow. So that goes right to the bottom, and then you can clearly see your bullseye, and then you can take well-aimed shots. Okay, so again, with this Radical AR, we've got 1 inch at 100 yards. So it's a 1 MOA rifle, okay, which I think is awesome on an economy AR, right? Because that's what this is. This is an economy AR. I have bought many Radicals. I think I'm up to like 5 now. It might be 6. I lost track. I got so many. But the first one I bought was during the Obama years. And that was $500. Okay. It had a very basic rail on it, right? It had this one's a little bit more fancy, but that had a basic rail on it. And here's the thing. This one right now, I went on their website to see how much it is, because you just go on their website, you order it, you have it shipped straight to your FFL. It's coming in at about $700. If you factor in inflation, which has been pretty crazy, that's still a $500 rifle if you put it in terms of like 2016. I think I bought it in like 2015. I think I bought it. So if you put this in terms of 2015 money, that's probably less than $500 when they're selling it at $700 today, right? But at $700, I mean, at 1 MOA, I think this thing kicks ass, okay? So like I said, I matched it up with the Holosun 503G ACSS reticle and the Vortex 6X magnifier, which I'm testing out today. That was really what I was intending to do today. I was intending to do a video review on this, or do an initial impressions review on this Vortex magnifier, but that 1 inch grouping kind of blew me out of the water so much. I'm like, you know what? We're talking about Radical today. I've got, as you can see here, I've got a bipod mounted on here. Now this is a, it's mounted to a 3-slot Picatinny rail. This is a 15-inch rail. So we got a 16-inch barrel with a 15-inch rail. Here's another one that I got right here. Basically the same thing. The only difference between this Radical and that one is this has the 12-inch rail, which comes a little bit short, which I personally like a lot better, okay? Because I still got enough rail space to get my hand all the way out and drive the gun, right? And then I don't have the extra weight of the rail up here because I've got plenty of space here if I want to put anything on here. Okay, so I got the 3-slot rail there, which I like a lot better than putting a hand stop or a vertical grip or anything like that, because if I want to rest this on the table, it's not on the way. I can grab this. I can mount a bipod on this. So I find this 3-slot rail in that position right there very, very useful. It can do multiple things. You know, mostly functioning as a hand stop, right? So, or an anchoring point. Let's not even call it a hand stop. Let's call it an anchoring point. So I'm always getting that same grip. But then it can double up as a bipod mount, right? You know, like I have it on that one over there. Now, as far as a light, I have another one, which is a dedicated night shooter. On that one, I have a rifle light mounted on the side with a pressure pad. Okay, it adds a lot of weight to the gun, right? Having a full-size rifle light. And you know, once you put the pressure pad on there, you guys zip tie it on. So it's pretty much going to stay on the rifle. On these guys over here, which I occasionally shoot at night, what I find to be the better option is I'll just use this Streamlight TLR1, which is also 1,000 looms, right? So it's pretty much the same power as a rifle light. It's just spreads a little bit different. And it goes on easy. You clamp it down. And there you go. Now I got a rifle light on the gun. I can work that lefty or righty without pressure pads. So that is a great option. When I look through here, this looks just like a front sight post. So it's really not that much in my way having it there. And basically, when I don't want it there, I just take it off. You know, so that's one of the nice things I like about this. For a long time, I had rear sight, backup flip out sights on this. On the one hand, I have found that the Holosuns are really reliable. The solar power with a battery backup. On the other hand, I prefer to use this space over here for the magnifier. I had no one out. I had no one out, but I'd rather put a magnifier on here in the back. I find that that's a much more useful use of the space. Actually, let me go get the other magnifier on. I want to show you a quick comparison between these two magnifiers as far as size. We'll pause this. So yeah, so lately I've taken to not putting on the backup sights to these guns because I find that it's a lot more useful for me to just be able to throw this magnifier on. Oh, it's not locked. Throw the magnifier on. Nice thing about the magnifier, it goes on and off really easy. You don't have to re-zero, you don't have to zero this or anything. You just put it on, you shoot the gun. If you don't want it, you flip it to the side. Or if you want to go lighter, you just basically just completely remove it. So I guess that's the reason why I've got one variable scope. It's a primary arms 1-8, right? That's on a dedicated a distance shooting rifle, right? That's an 18-inch barrel. So I only got one of those. Everything else is a red dot now. And here's the thing: these magnifiers, they can just go from one to the other, right? So I have a whole bunch of magnifiers. You don't need one for every rifle. You just put it on whenever you need it, basically. Okay. Well, you can see you can see how the 3X is a little bit smaller than the 6X. But here's the thing. I mean, the 6X is a little bit bigger, but it's only by a small percentage bigger. So 6X is really economical in terms of weight and size compared to the 3X. The price is double. This is $200. That's $400. I mean, with the discount, with the Optics Planet discounts, I think I got that one for $360. But for that extra magnification, right? For doubling your magnification from 3X to 6X, you're not paying a whole lot in terms of size and weight. Okay? What I was starting to talk about was the rails. This one over here has the 15-inch rails, and what I have found is that I prefer the 12-inch rail because you got the basically it's a little lighter up front. My arm is as far out as I can reach for my arm length. Okay, so the gun's a little bit lighter. So and I didn't know until I bought that one. Okay, but that's but having tried these two rails out side by side, I definitely recommend, unless you got really long arms, unless you're like, you know, 6'4", 6'6", or something, most people are going to be quite happy with the 12-inch rail as opposed to going with the 15-inch rail. You know, same barrel length, 16 inches. Okay, both of these guns are identical, other than the handguard, basically. Like I said earlier, I have a number of Radical firearms. One of the things I like about Radical is they have a lifetime warranty. This one over here is actually a replacement on warranty. Okay, the first one that I bought back in 2015, I completely shot out the barrel. Okay, the bullets were going in. It took 22,000 rounds, right? I did a video review on that. Just search Radical Firearms 22,000 rounds. You know, it should come up. But at 22,000 rounds, I shot out the barrel. The bullets were just going in sideways at 30 yards, right? So I sent them an email, said rifling shot out. They said send us in the rifle, and they actually sent me a whole new rifle, with the exception being the receiver, which, you know, the lower receiver, which has the serial number. Every other part on the gun that they sent back was brand new, and I am very grateful to them for that. I think they did excellent on that, on their warranty. Now, along the way, on the way to 22,000 rounds, I also went through three trigger groups, and I also think I went through 3 bolts. Now, with the bolt, the part that broke was usually the extractor or the gas rings. But what happened is when I would call them up, usually, you know, they would just change out the whole bolt carrier, right? So they were great with that. They were great. You know, same thing with the trigger groups, right? When the disconnector broke or something, they just sent me out a whole new trigger group. I would send them an email, and they would send it out to me. So I did a separate video talking about their warranty policy, which, and here's the thing, they, at the time, they didn't know I was doing videos on them or anything like that. They at this point, they know who I am. However, when they sent me this rifle, you know, I just placed the order online. They didn't know that it was coming to me to do a review or anything like that. So this is just what their rifles do, right? We got this one over here with that setup, 1 inch at 100 yards. I'm very much looking forward to taking this out to a 600-yard range and testing that out and seeing how it does there. So that's part of the reason why I had, you know, I got this Vortex. I have plans to get out to actually a 1,000-yard range and do some testing, and that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be doing some videos on that. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to get out there, but I will be getting out there. So there it is. I think for the $700 that they're charging right now, I think this is a great economy rifle that gets you 1 inch. It can get you, you know, obviously you gotta be, you know, you gotta be up to the task. Also, the you know, the optics makes a big difference, right? Because like this one over here, when I shoot this with the 510C, which has that 2M weight dot, and I put the 3X magnifier on it, the best I can get with this is 2 inches at 100 yards, right? 2 inches, but that's because the dot is completely covering the bullseye, right? So when I put the dot on top of the bullseye, it just, you know, with the 3X magnifier, it just blows it up and it just completely covers it. So the 2M weight dot is going to cover that at 100 yards. However, with the ACSS, it goes underneath it, so I can clearly see my bullseye, and, you know, and be more consistent with where I'm putting my dot. So having that type of an optic will make the difference. Now, even when I was shooting this with the 2M weight dot, occasionally I would see like 1 inch clusters, and then, you know, so I had a feeling that these guns were capable of 1 inch at 100 yards, but until I matched up this Vortex 6X magnifier to this Holosun 503G with the ACSS, until I matched this thing up, I really wasn't able to fully test this gun out and see what it can do. And it's doing it, man. I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm saying this over and over again because I am that impressed. You know, I am very impressed with 1 inch at 100 yards. And here's the thing, it's not like it's a one-shot fluke. I did this a couple of times. Now today is very windy. If you look at the wind ribbons, so initially this blue bullseye was like down here. So I just started putting a whole bunch of shots downrange to kind of see where my zero was. And I saw I had one flyer here, one flyer here, and then I see like a 1.25 inch cluster here. I was shooting a little bit low, so then I moved my bullseye up a little bit, and then I adjusted my my zero, okay? And then I got this group over here, which is a total of 2.5 inches. But basically, if you discount that one flyer there, okay, I've got a cluster of 1.25 inches over here, right? So this 4-shot cluster over here is 1.25 inches. So again, this is at the point where I'm just kind of just checking, trying to get my zero right. So once I saw that I was hitting up here, I knew I just had to go 2 clicks down. So then when I made that adjustment, 2 clicks down, I was like really a bit more careful, trying to, trying not to make. Basically, I was watching my trigger squeeze a little bit more, and that's when I got the 1 inch group here. The wind was blowing to the right a little bit. It was blowing like the ribbons today are blowing about 10 miles an hour to the right, which basically moved my group 1 inch to the right, which is exactly what I would expect it to do. But yeah, it's there, 1 inch at 100 yards. I'm ecstatic. I mean, I gotta tell you guys, for an economy rifle, hitting 1 inch at 100 yards, you have to sit there and wonder what are people paying like $2,000 for an AR for? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I don't know. I mean, maybe there is a benefit. I don't know. I don't have any $2,000 AR, so I can't really compare. But I mean, this is very good. I'm very happy with this. So a shout out to Radical Firearms, and they by now they know who I am. Okay, I've done enough video reviews on them. I have because basically I'm a gun breaker, right? I do enough round counts where I wear out the guns, and I'm constantly going back to them for a lifetime warranty. Because the company has a lifetime warranty policy. So I don't know if they love me or hate me, right? I don't know if they love me for, testing their equipment out and doing honest reviews, or they hate me, for constantly breaking their guns and going back and asking for warranty repairs. But here's the thing: these are machines. ARs are designed to be light guns, right? They're not, like the triggers on ARs are rated for 5,000 rounds. Okay, that's what they are. Okay, now usually I'll get closer to 10,000 rounds. But basically, if your life is really going to depend on it, every 5,000 rounds I would change the trigger. Every 5,000 rounds I would probably change out the bolt. But since my life doesn't depend on it, I pretty much keep shooting these guns until the part actually breaks. Okay, so usually with the triggers I'll get closer to 10,000 rounds. With the bolt, same thing, by 10,000 rounds. So on that AR that I completely shot out at 22,000 rounds, I went through 3 trigger groups, and I went through 3 bolt carriers. Okay, it was just a bolt that broke, but they just at that point they just changed out the whole carrier because of the wearing that's going back and forth. They figured that it just made more sense to just change out the whole carrier rather than take a chance that maybe they send me a bolt and the carrier's now worn out, so they just changed out the whole bolt for me. Now, in most cases, when I wear out parts, I just send them an email with a picture of the serial number, show them a picture of the serial number and a picture of the part that's broken, and based on that, they'll send me the replacement parts. Now, over periods of times, sometimes they get, like any company, they'll get new people working there. And I've experienced where, I sent out an email and I just wasn't getting the attention that I thought I should be getting, not as anybody special, just as a regular customer. And I raised a little bit of hell, but sure enough, they took care of me. They got the parts that, they replaced the parts that needed to be replaced under their, company policy, right? Because it's not like I'm asking for special treatment, right? It's the company policy. So the cool thing about this is it is available to everybody, right? They do have a lifetime warranty. That's something I value very much, which is the reason why I bought, like, I think 5 or 6 of these things so far, because of that lifetime warranty. And I can tell you guys, they do honor it. They've been doing it. They've been changing out the parts, so they will honor it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are ecstatic about this group as I am. All right? Look at that. That is beautiful, right? Look at that. 1 inch at 100 yards. I'm actually loving it. Drop some comments below. Let me know how you like the video. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notification of new videos I put up.